Really, the very start of it's what you need to know. I don't think we have anything like that, really.
No total.
For the extensive as that ordinance is.
Did you? Yeah.
All right, at 6 o'clock, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is roll call. John Thompson here.
Neil Harnick,
Wells here.
John Hardiker. Ron Mather.
Nicole Conway.
Number 2, approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Motion by Nate, second by John. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Approval of meeting minutes. Number 3.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Any discussion?
Who was the second? Nate.
Nate. Okay. Motion by Nicole, second by Nate. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Number 4, citizens wishing to be heard. Anyone? Okay.
Happy people that
I know, we like happy people, man. Okay, number 5, vouchers. There's 2 months there, correct? Or is there just 1
No,
month?
just one.
A lot of vouchers. I must have misread it wrong or saw it twice.
Nobody has questions, I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers.
Second.
Okay, motion by Nicole, second by Nate. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 6, treasurers and water report.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's and water report. Second it?
Okay, motion by Nicole, second by Danielle. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 7, sewer credits.
This was for the whole year, right? For 4 months,
For,
3 months,
for which one? For the,
for Gooch.
for
For
Gooch's,
Gooch.
yeah, for the whole summer.
I'll make a motion to approve. Gooch's.
Okay, motion by John, second by Nate. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor for that one say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, and the other one from the cafe.
Well, we gotta do something with the colored letter, so I'll make a motion to approve that. It's for 3042, right?
Motion by John, second by Nicole, any other discussion?
I don't think we should. We're opening up a can of worms. Are we gonna give a credit for the last 30 years for everybody on Gilbert Street? Not saying it's not right, but.
Yeah.
I think doing this, we're opening up a big can of worms. Just my opinion.
Any other discussion?
I'd like to point out that in the, calculation of that sewer credit, please note that the usage is actually less through summer months than it was in the last quarter of last year, so I don't really know how big effect, I don't think the effect that's being had was as large as it was portrayed.
Well, we just need the water to get cleared out, and that's just it.
It sounds like it's getting
Yeah.
a lot better.
Yeah.
It's better than here.
So, as long as we're,
Laterals fixed.
any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Licenses.
We just have one for Holly Park, at Tool Town Tab. Our background check was clear. He's taking the bartending class, everything's okay for them.
I'll make a motion for the operator's license for Holly Park.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Rollins, second by Demina. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 9, Economic Development Committee report.
This will be very short. We basically, our meeting is next week, and we're at the point now where, with the architect, we're gonna actually be able to start putting things on paper and putting a design together. We're probably looking at February before we really have some hard, diagrams and sketches to show you, but as it progresses, I'll bring it to the board and you can, watch the event take place, so. As I said before, we really encourage people to come to the Economic Board, committee meeting for their input, we really do, it's very important. And that's it.
I'll just offer that anyone, I'm gonna be doing the agenda for it, so if anybody has anything that they want put on the agenda for that, or to come to it, that would be great.
What's the date?
11/11.
And that's next Tuesday, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, number 10, Planning Commission. Sandy, do you have anything you wanna share with us?
Like to thank Bob Selk to be in the go-between between Rick Johnson and Corey Melfi's building. He's got pretty much everything done on the building except for the overhead doors. And hopefully in the spring, he gets all of that leveled off.
Overhead doors should be on, probably end of next week.
That's what I kind of figured, 'cause it takes time for them.
We're waiting for them to
Yeah.
arrive.
And Fuzzy has got just a couple piles of logs to split, and then that'll look pretty decent. And we sent out some letters to some other people in the village.
Any other questions for Sandy? Okay, then 11, Parks Committee is on here.
We're gonna be looking at setting up a meeting, possibly Thursday, November 13th, but I'm gonna get with everybody first, because I would like it to be the Parks Committee and the nonprofit committee. We wanna start looking into a fundraiser again in the spring, and, we kinda want everybody's input on that, and we'll be running that through the nonprofit. There was some damage from two kids at the park. The office, I stopped in Rowan and I talked with Stacy and she was gonna look at the cameras that we have. We have a good description of both boys. Nyla McGuire got them out of there before they did any more damage, so. We are gonna be working on pricing for the ball diamond. It's kind of a vague thing right now, starting at 15,000, going to 50,000, so. It's just kind of at the beginning now, so that we'll be working on, through the nonprofit parks meeting, economic development, all of that, so, to get some good ideas on that. I was worried that we needed to get the, drain tile in right away now, but the gentleman that came from, I think it was Madison, he said that we don't wanna put drain tile in. He said that's the worst thing we can do right now, we need to just rebuild it all, so, he has lots of good ideas, so we'll be working on that throughout the winter, and he said that we can put that in the spring and it won't hurt the baseball season, so that's what we were worried about. Yeah, we're gonna be, also then deciding with a few of the committees, what we'd like to be purchasing, what the community would like with our fundraiser, whether it's playground equipment, home run fence, just whatever people's ideas are, so that'll be exciting. Chuck Duncan was gonna fix the grandstand, yesterday or today, but I think he had to wait until the, material came in, so he said probably tomorrow, so then that'll be fixed. That's it.
Was that where the damage was, or that's the holes up?
That's all those holes,
Okay.
yeah. The damage that they did is fine, they just got they got angry and threw trash cans and all that, I just cleaned it up, it was no big
Okay.
deal.
Alright.
So,
So nothing permanent,
no,
okay. Any questions for Danielle?
Are those the same two that broke the lock off the bathroom door?
well, I don't know if they did that, that wasn't, caught on the camera, but that was an issue that we have too. I've had some complaints because, little kids are having to go to the bathroom in the woods and everything, cause the doors are locked all the time.
Well, the door
So-
initially started to be locked because there was a huge beehive.
Yeah, but that was a while
Mhm.
ago, and that got taken care of, so I just, yeah, hopefully we can, I mean, now they're gonna be closed because it's gonna be winter, but,
And they winterized them yesterday.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they're closed.
yeah, so it'll be closed, well, just to mention with that, I had a kind of a thought, do we want to get a porta potty for the winter? It's just a thought, so we can think about it. I know some parks, once they lock up the bathrooms, just have one porta potty. So, something we can discuss
Is it getting knocked over?
later. No, I don't know. Well, when I go to parks, I see that they have them, so.
Let's move on to number 12, Footville Department of Public Works. Mike, do you have anything to share with us?
Short, well two's back online, everything's balancing out real nicely. Our fourth quarter, radium results came back, today. They were both below MCL. Well, 2 was 4.1 and, well 3 was 4.78, I do believe, if I remember right. So, but it's ever so close. Our fourth quarter average is about 4.8 right now.
Mm.
It's
And
always clear.
five's the cutoff, right?
Right,
That's
but
where you wanna be under at least?
yeah, you wanna be under 5 every time. The good news was 3 came down from 5.4 down to that 4.78.
Good.
So it came down, which was a good thing. Other than that, we've gone through, done PMs on the well houses for winterization, make sure everything's working fine, nothing frees up for us. The bathrooms were done this week, at the park, and, hopefully we blew it out real good and we won't have to do as many repairs as we had to do last spring.
The only thing I did find, I did go down and check, he had all the power shut off.
Mhm.
Can't do that, we got cameras plugged in.
Oh.
And
I didn't know which one worked the hot water heater, cause it's electric. So
I'm not sure, I flipped them all on except for the first one, it had water heater rolling up there, but I don't know if it was the right switch.
That's why we
I
slapped
know.
them all down.
But I dawned on me, cameras ain't working, and sure enough, everything was offline. So I don't know if we should check that tomorrow, I don't know how to test it, to
I can bring something in tomorrow from home.
make sure the water heater ain't
Yeah, I
running
can pull the plug and
dry.
the plate off and shut everything down and disconnect them wires that go to it.
Yeah, if you could tomorrow, just check on that, cause I wasn't sure when the camera's up and running.
Alrighty, Mike, you got anything to add?
No.
Okay, alright, thank you guys. Any questions for them? Okay, number 13 is 2026 budget approval. Brent, do you wanna just give a brief overview?
Sure. For people that might not know me, Brent Nelson, I'm an audit partner with Johnson Block and Company. I'm with, my colleague Travis is on the call too. We met with, 3 members of the board at two budget committee meetings in October. And at the conclusion of those meetings, the next day, a budget summary was posted, so 2026, and we're just looking at the general fund budget, so we're not looking at water or sewer at this point, but budget summary was posted on October 17th, and then the budget hearing was just held to see if there's any feedback from taxpayers or residents. Overall, I can share my screen with that budget summary, but overall, the 2026 budget calls for a general property tax levy of $564,857. And that number comes right from the levy limit worksheet. The village, like all Wisconsin municipalities, is able to increase its levy by a factor called net new construction. And then there's also, you can increase levy for debt changes in debt service. So that $564,857, that's getting derived straight from the state's calculation on the levy limit worksheet. And that there's about it's about a 6% increase year over year. Biggest driver of that increase was, there's more scheduled debt service payments in 2026 compared to what there was in 2025. You wanted me to go into any specifics, or I could bring up the budget summary if there's any questions?
Do you guys have questions for Brent? Did everybody pick up a copy of the budget over here when you came in? Board members, do you have any questions? No. Okay. All right, well, if there's no questions, then we just need a motion to pass it.
We need a motion to pass the budget for 2026.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you for your time, guys, we appreciate you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, good night.
Have a good night.
Take care.
Number 14, Clayton Trainin would like to talk to us about Viking Youth Baseball.
Yeah,
Basically. We'll come right up to the table here. That's the hot seat tonight, we're rotating people through, so.
Basically, I just have questions. Like I said, and I'm here representing Viking Youth Baseball. Hearing a lot of rumors about Footville Park. Kind of like to put them rumors to bed. Basically, wondering what's happening, when it's happening, and the big question is Footville Park gonna be playable this summer during construction?
Well, we hoping it is, or figuring it should be, we're trying to work around everything.
Do we have a timeline, like when stuff's starting, I guess? Like I heard the grandstand's coming down, is that accurate?
It won't be this year.
That's not
Okay.
accurate.
That's a big deal, okay.
Yep.
Right here, okay, great, okay.
That's
Great.
up in that, you know, hopes and plans.
Okay, okay, that's a big one.
We are talking about constructing some new bathrooms.
Yep,
That won't affect things because we would have the current ones available. But we're trying to start making progress to be able to redo everything and upgrade everything.
great, great. So, we're gonna be able to play a football.
Yeah, and
Okay.
that's what I was talking about, we, the Parks Committee, we went and got a drain tile and we were gonna put that in, then we had an expert from Madison come down who does, you know,
Okay.
the diamonds, and he said, don't do that, that's not a good idea, we're gonna just redo the whole thing, it's gonna
Okay,
be a lot more, but, that's
You-
what we're working on, so.
just hypothetically speaking, do you know if that is gonna take place like March, April, or August, September? Like the work on the diamond?
I'd like to say I can tell you, but I can't.
Yeah.
I did ask him, is that going to interfere with baseball at all? Cause then we gotta wait until you're done again. And he said, no, not what he does. So he will be looking in the spring
Okay,
before
Was he
you
gonna
start.
bring in new sand and everything?
Yeah,
He could bring the right stuff in instead of that.
yeah.
Cause if we did, and I was gonna go down, I heard Turtle Limestone has kind of the right mixture you need for that diamond.
okay,
I'm gonna look into getting some of that for that diamond instead of the field.
cause we're looking at having more numbers, more teams than we've had in years and years and years. So not only do we want Football, we need Football. And we really wanna be able to use it in the month of April.
That's what, yeah, for sure. That is our goal, and
Cause we'll start our scheduling in the month of January, and we just need to know if that Football's available, is the biggest thing, so.
yeah, and, we are working on it right now. The fella from Madison's given us quotes now, and, we're gonna have a meeting, but he's been off for a couple weeks, so.
Is that something they can do over the winter time, work on that, or is that?
That I don't know,
You
I
don't-
can't answer.
So when do you need the diamond, like from when to when?
April first to August,
April first to late August, I would assume? Yeah.
in August for sure, yep.
Yep.
And, yeah, so it's great to hear like you're not everything I've heard is.
Yeah, 'cause we've been hearing
Oh,
rumors
yeah.
for a while, they're moving to Orfordville.
Yeah.
Huh?
We heard rumors Outlaws are moving to Orfordville,
I heard that too, and whoever said that was very mistaken.
which I know you got a few games, but I don't know, they're gonna move over there and know what we do. You know?
No.
Because this is our whole reason that we're trying to do
Yeah.
everything, is to bring more baseball in,
And
so.
through fundraising, we have some money too, so if you guys are looking for donations to put towards the park, we have that availability, so.
I'm just gonna ask your opinion, although I know you have the youth, so it wouldn't really matter.
Yeah.
A home run fence, what do you think of that?
So, my opinion, at 44 years old, is I don't like it because that's football, right? I've played at football my whole life, and part of the mystique of football is the water tower. No offense, the place looks huge.
Yeah.
Now, if
It
you
will make
ask
it
me
small.
at 18
Yeah.
years old, hell yeah, I want a home run.
Right, right.
I don't like it, just because you have so many levels, and I heard rumors that there's a men's softball league that's trying to come back. And if you put in a fence for that, then it's not compatible for home talent, you know, there's so many variables. Again, that is just my opinion.
And I've had someone from Home Talent reach out to me and ask.
Yep.
You know, so, I know there's a lot of different needs.
It
It's
is,
hard to accommodate all of them.
it's whatever, if you put a fence in, it's gonna accommodate some, you're gonna make some happy, you're gonna make some mad, you don't put it in, you're gonna make
I
some
just
happy,
think
you're gonna make some
And
mad.
like you said, it's nostalgia, Football Park, that's what you get here.
Yeah.
Better have the
Because
rights under you.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And it is, because we're making, you know, the walking path being worked on a
Mhm.
lot, it looks so pretty now, and, yeah, but putting a fence, you're gonna take all that away
But
too.
it's one of those
Different
things for
things.
every person that wants one, there's gonna be somebody
Right.
that doesn't want it, so.
And then I heard that, again, rumors, that someone might have a problem with, getting into the garages there, you know, the underneath sheds there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have two, I mean, I'm speaking for myself, we'd have, you know, get approval, but I would think that you or whoever could have their own key for, you know, we could separate them.
That,
One home talent, one Viking youth, if that would,
more keys make it handy, but it also opens things up for everything else, again.
Yeah.
Long as that key's not shared like it has been in the past, where all of a sudden, one guy decides to make 6 copies of the key, and then all of a sudden, there's keys everywhere, you know?
so you haven't had a problem, see, I heard
No,
an
no.
issue that there was, so I wanted to see what you needed.
There's nothing in there that's not shared by Viking Youth, Hometown, whoever. Everybody uses it.
Your line
Okay.
maker, your drag.
Yeah, everybody uses
Yeah.
the same thing, so.
Okay.
it's, I know when, Hometown started, they had some of their own stuff, but we've gotten over that hurdle and we're good, so.
Okay, great.
Alright, so the sky's not falling, that's great.
Well,
Thank you.
We're
We're
trying
glad to hear
to
you.
make
Glad
it
you
better,
stay in the
really. Yes, we are thrilled you're staying.
thank you for coming tonight.
Absolutely.
Number 15, tax incremental district resolution.
So we are back, so since the last time we met, the 2025 values for Footville were published by the state of Wisconsin, since you guys did a revaluation last year, which we had anticipated. We had kind of anticipated an increase in property values. And fortunately and unfortunately, what we found was that the vast majority of property value increases were in the TIF boundary itself. So the boundary of the TIF itself went up about $5 million. The value of the entire community went down $1 million. So we had given ourselves a lot of buffer. We were at about 8% of our overall equalized value, and with the revaluation, that went to 14%. So state law requires that all TIFs cannot exceed 12% of the overall equalized value of the community. So what that meant was we had to revise the boundary and remove some parcels to get back below that 12% before the state would certify the new TIF district. So they have accepted our submittal, so we're in the hopper, and they normally that's due by October 31st. We submitted long in advance of October 31st. Then the values changed, and they have given us an extension now until the end of November 21st actually, to kind of go through this process of them changing the boundary and then moving that base value of the TIF district down. So in the memo that I provided you, it kind of explains how the process went. We had an overall TIF value of about 7.9 million. That increased by about 5 million. So we now need to cut out about 2.5 million, and I'm using rather round numbers. And where that leaves us is below the 12% threshold, and right now where things sit, that puts us at about 11.8%. But the preliminary assessment ratio, which is out and available, it's not the final assessment ratio, will likely lower that percentage down even more to about 10.4, 10.8, somewhere in there. So we're back to having a buffer. Not as much as a buffer as we had before, but we're still in a position, based on the assessment ratio, which won't be finalized, which isn't finalized yet, but will be before the end of the year, and then that will have a little change in the numbers, but that's nothing that we can control at the local level. That's at the state level, and through the assessor. So right now, the assessor has the ability to challenge the assessment ratio, and assuming that that's not happening in Footville, they leave that preliminary assessment ratio in place until it becomes final. So hopefully this will be the last step of this process, assuming everybody's comfortable with this new boundary that has been proposed. This will go to the Joint Review Board next week, Wednesday, and as we mentioned before, they're kind of the final say. The joint review board is made up of representatives from the village, from the county, from the school district, and from Blackhawk Tech, as well as one public member. And then they will, assuming everything goes well tonight, pass a new resolution next week, Wednesday, and then that should be the final step of the process. But I think we said that once before.
Deja vu.
Yes, yes.
So you kind of eliminated the ones down Galena then that you had added.
Yeah,
So you're-
exactly, you're exactly right, yeah, but it doesn't jeopardize, the, the hope and,
Yep.
and purpose of, addressing that stormwater in that area, because all those properties are still located within the half-mile buffer, which is allowed by state and which we put into the project plan, so expenses still can happen in that area. And it's because development wasn't likely going to occur anyways, we're not losing out on any new value other than just organic growth. Or if Mr. Duncan wants to add a second story to his house or something, I don't know, he can do that without us benefiting. So,
Just still allow, you thinking about that culvert out there?
About the culvert,
The culvert, does that include that?
because it's within that half
It's in-
mile buffer
is that
zone.
along Galena?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's included.
Yeah.
The only place that really isn't included in town in that half mile buffer zone, which I didn't realize until I was looking at the stuff, is over on Clover Lane on the east side of it, where we do have some issues. But those issues are not to the extent of what we have everywhere else.
Mhm.
I think that might be able to be a simple address to that, so. Does anyone have any questions for Al?
No, I think he knows what he's doing.
Another one.
Then we have a resolution there that we would need to approve.
Yes, I think a simple motion approving resolution 2025-04 would be sufficient. I don't know that there needs to be any extemporaneous language on it.
I'll make a motion to accept the tax increment district resolution 2025-04.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
All right, thank you, Al.
Thank you.
Thanks, Al.
And then number 16 is incentives discussion for possible new subdivision in the tax district. Back in the Economic Development Committee notes, they actually made a motion as part of a recommendation for this. That's number 3 in their minutes, it's almost to the front of your packet, but the incentives they recommended was the land being sold for $1 and a $5,000 bonus per home built. They recommended the money for those homes would be distributed at the completion of 5, 10, 15 homes and then the completion of the subdivision. All those dollars would come out of the tax district funds. So that is a recommendation they have for us. So, and the reason why we're talking about this is so that developers who we're having conversations with know exactly what we're willing to commit to. So we're not dealing with hypotheticals anymore, we're dealing with absolutes. So does anyone have any thoughts on this?
That wasn't mine.
They're putting in all the infrastructure, correct?
Correct.
To be part of the
They have to put in the curb and gutter, and water lines and all that.
Whatever you determine, yep. So those are expenses we will not have.
Board paved roads.
Well, if you wanna put that in, Nate.
I guess I was questioning this one on the number 6, talk with contractors and existing homeowners on possibility of purchasing land attached to their property. Is that just more or less getting the neighbors okay for somebody to buy that, or what?
No,
Go ahead, please.
that was, these were just some things that we all came up with that we wanted. And actually, I came up with that one because I know there's a couple, landowners that don't want houses behind them, so they wondered if they could purchase the lot
Okay.
behind them. No, probably won't happen, but it's something was brought up, so that's why it's on here.
And that list really there, we're not really deciding on that tonight, that's separate discussion. But, I mean, this gives you an idea of all the things they've talked about. And they will eventually have to be things that we decide. And we have the decision making on that.
Yeah, right now it's just the incentives.
Just the
Yeah.
incentives, yep. Cause then we can get to the point where we can find out, you know, what builders are interested, then we could actually set the parameters for the developers agreement, then have discussions with them. You know, we can figure out who we want to use, who we don't want to use. Any other thoughts? Does anyone wanna make a motion related to this?
I'll make a motion to approve the incentives for the contract for this wilderness subdivision.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Is there enough room for 15 houses back there?
I think there was enough room for 22 or 26. I think that's kind of what they look at, 22. The discussion has also been on some of these longer corner lots that come out to North Gilbert here, and those would be duplexes, but again, that's just not anything we have to decide tonight, that's later on. Any other discussion or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
All right, thank you for your time, Al. Number 17 is, review bids for a new village assessor. I think you have 3 bids there. And one of the assessors are here tonight.
Thank you for showing up. Yeah. Actually means you want the job.
Do you wanna come up to the hot seat, maybe share your experience and give some ideas of what you've done and why you'd like to be our assessor?
Okay, my name is John Pounder, and I'm assessor level 2. I've been doing assessing since, 1994. It's a kind of a part-time, full-time job for me. Full-time job when we're in the assessing season. I also farm, with my son, but he kind of does most of the work. I just go in and break things on the farm. He gets to fix them for me. I brought my staff with me. I'm kind of a hands-on person in terms of, if I'm going to value your house, Johnny, I'd like to see that house and get the information on that house before I value it.
I mean, instead of just like they did last time and just didn't even look at it.
And, Diane does the data input, takes the photos, helps me with the measurements and checking the exteriors. I always do the interior of the homes to get the data correct. Cause I'm kind of a firm believer in, if you want good information, so that you get good values based on that information, cause garbage in, garbage out, no matter how fancy your computer program is, it's not gonna make any difference if you don't have the good data. So, I'm not a big fan of market updates, interim market updates. I'm not a big fan of viewing the property from the street and putting a value on it. Because there's a lot of things you don't see from the street. And when I do an interior viewing on a home, I have 3 questions. The first question is, are there any defects on this property that might affect value? Because you live in your home, you know more about your home than I'll ever know about your home. And so I asked that question as a direct question. And I also asked if there's any changes, because the effective assessment date is always January 1st. I asked if there's any changes. And then I allow for input by the property owners so that I understand what I'm valuing better. So, I know you just had a revaluation and you're probably going to be compliant with the plus or minus 10% rule. And so you're not pressed for another revaluation. But we would look at, as I do in the other municipalities, I have a 4-year program. I view about 25% of the improved properties in the municipality every year. And at the end of the 4 years, we do a revaluation. That's the general approach that we use. We do all the footwork. I'm pretty set on that. I do have some data stuff that Diane does a lot better job, a lot quicker than I am on the keyboard. But I come to board meetings regularly. One, it helps me understand what's going on in the community, and 2, it gives some face time, so you actually know who I am. I am the one that puts values out. I am the one that comes to open book, and I am the one that comes to board of reviews. I know your values went up significantly, stuff. I would say that it's a rule that if we're the assessors, the first season, we would welcome people who feel that they've had a rough valuation in the recent past to request a review, basically, and happens any year. We do it, we're duty bound technically to do it, as if a property owner says, I would like my assessment reviewed based on current market information. We would welcome property owners that aren't satisfied with what the value is currently to go through the process with us. Because we'll immediately, when we get that contact, we will immediately request a viewing of the property, so we have the data correct. And then we'll do the due diligence to research the sold properties, because it's all supposed to be based off market information. So we have to go through look at the sales information and try to generate something that makes sense. I do have a lot of statistical background, and I understand statistics. I understand the software evaluation programs very well, but it still has to make sense at the end of the day. And I'd like to be able to take time to explain that to the property owners. Some people, and I'll be honest, I've locked horns with, because they build a house for 1.2 million, put it on the market for 1.7, and think it should be valued at 800,000. Those numbers always confuse me because it doesn't make any sense. But we ran into that, and it's always a challenge to try to persuade the property owner to look at it from a different angle. But they moved out in the country to lower their taxes. And that doesn't always happen, because we take the market information and evaluate it and come back to something that's realistic. I don't, if you want me to, I can babble all night long, but I don't want to.
I'm gonna just tell you a couple of different things, because I am the office help, but I'm also out working with John. When he's at the house, I'm there as well in stuff. So I guess if you wanna look at a negative, there's not somebody there 24/7 to answer the phone. We have an answering machine. We lost our 800 number. The company went out of business, so right now we don't have an 800 number. That's something we're looking into. I don't know how quickly we'll get that back up. But the other thing is, we do return phone calls when we come back to the office, because basically our home is our office. And sometimes if we have property owners, maybe they work until 4:30 and we stop at 4 o'clock, we won't get home or get back, until like, say 5:30, 6 o'clock. So we usually, I put in there as a general rule that we will not return calls until after 6 o'clock. And we usually only go till about 9 o'clock, unless a property owner says to us, hey, you can call me up until 10. Because at 9 o'clock, it's kind of like everyone's just like, oh, leave me alone, no one talk to me and stuff. So the other thing is that if we're at home, if we have nothing going on, the phone will be answered. Unless we're on another call, but then I will call you back. If it's something that John can take care of, I'll give you I can say to, he'll give you a call back. What's the best way to reach you? Because some people, if they're at work, leave their work number, but John isn't always back before you leave the office type of thing, or leave your work. So, those are kind of, different things. The other thing is too, is, if you do have a website, we try to work with you with your website so that you know what we're doing. If we're gonna, if we have, the village, we'll say we'll be working in this area, from this time to this time. And like I said too, with the appointments are such, yes, we usually put on there 9 to 4, but like I said, we're not opposed to coming earlier if it works better for you. If we're, doing it after work works better and it's after 4 o'clock, we do make that. We just try to get it pinpointed to a day that works, so that we both know, okay, this is a day that we're gonna come. I set up, I don't know if you guys are aware of a Sign Up Genius. My daughter taught it to me, she's a teacher. And what we do is we generally put that out there and have the property owners set up a time so that they know they have it and we know. And then what happens too is that it will send you an email to say, hey, don't forget about, it's a reminder. That's always there. You're able to change that if you forgot and you weren't able to make it. That doesn't mean, well, sorry, you missed your appointment, we're not coming out there. Just give me a call, we can always reschedule. And the other thing I try to encourage property owners is, this is not as important as your job. You know, you don't have to take half a day off or take the whole day off, because I get a lot of people who say that to me. No, we're only there 15, 20 minutes. If after work works better, then that's something we'll do. If before work works better, we'll we'll compensate at what we have going on so that we can be there, so that you guys don't have to take off. If you work nearby and you wanna do it during lunch, cause we usually take an hour off, all you have to do is call me and let me know, and we can work it out too. Okay, this day we're gonna have an appointment. So we try to work with the community. It isn't our way is the only way. We try to be a little bit flexible so that, everybody can, get whatever they wanna tell us, and so we can see your homes and get the proper information and stuff. Cause to be honest with you, if we are, chosen, the thing of it is, we don't know what we're coming into. We don't know what the people before had, and do they do it the same way we do? We don't know that either. So, it's kind of like, we're gonna be working at it together type of thing to make sure we do have all the information. And like John said, I'm the one that does everything. I mean, I do the sketches and I input the information, but that information is based on what I see. If people don't wanna let us in, and that's everybody's right, you're not going to be.
We will not come to your home. We send out the standard state prescribed and approved letter making the request of you. And the statute, as you read it, you do not have to allow us to view the home. We have to do it from the street and from the GIS information. But we don't come and knock on the door and do the pretend look around the corners and stuff, because I wouldn't want that to happen to me.
Yeah.
And if you
Even though I do
don't,
cooperate.
and if you don't allow us in, that doesn't mean you're targeted either. It just means that now we're guessing from the road, and so it's kind of like you can even, if you would even ask other property owners, they're like, well, sometimes they're really good and other times they're really bad, so, I mean, but it's your option, like I said, it's not like we go, oh, this person didn't let us in, so we're gonna raise you, another 50,000 or something. That we just don't work that way. It's not fair to you, and, what's the point? If we can look at your house from the outside and it's like, well, we're gonna go this route, you come to Open Book and say, hey, how did you get this? And we say, oh, you didn't let us in, can we come in now? Then we will we will go in after Open Book, or, in between, depending on how many days we have, or if it's just the 2 hours, John will go in and look at the house, so.
The software we use is Market Drive, and they do have a view-only option. We would recommend that the village put that on their website, so that every property owner, anybody technically, can go and view their assessment record at any time. It's a public records thing. If we're requested to provide the record, we are required to provide the record. We cannot ask people who they are or why they want that property record card and what they're gonna use it for. So it's always available via public record, but I think that the property owners, if they can browse through the properties, they can also get some information as to why their assessment lands where it does.
Anyone have any more questions for these two nice folks? Okay, thank you. Do we wanna talk about any of the other two that came? I don't know if you wanna stay around or go, or.
I have no comment about any other assessment firm.
We're not asking you to.
Except that
We have some thoughts.
we are the ones that actually do the work. We don't hire someone at near minimum wage to do the viewings and take the photos. And we're the ones that handle the data, and I'm the one that puts the value on it. And to be honest, I have made a mistake or two.
We all do.
But I'm always willing to correct anything that's wrong.
We all make mistakes.
I for one would like to say you've been very informative and thank you, it's been very helpful.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
You know, it's kinda, smaller municipalities are a lot easier to work with than the big ones.
Mhm.
Especially the ones with lakes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you guys making a decision, like,
Like here in the next 10 minutes, I think.
oh,
Yeah.
Or less. So you can sit there.
Wait.
Any other comments? And the other one is our previous or current assessor. And just so you know, if we pick you, you might have a lot of people come, because we had a lot of complaints. I know you know
I
that.
understand
but-
that,
Yeah.
and really, outside of the governance of the municipality, one of the other primary functions of the board is to see that tax burden is distributed fairly
Yeah.
amongst all the property owners. And that I take serious.
What was the name of that second one?
Accurate Appraisal is who we have. They submitted a quote. And then Musser Appraiser, Appraisal and Consultants. And that's one you had some information on, Nate, for concerns.
Yeah, you Google, Musser Appraisal in the city of Verona. I would not hire him. He made a huge mistake and he didn't own up to it. And it cost the taxpayers of Verona a lot. They actually had to go to the state and appeal it. So I wouldn't hire him. And I talked to another municipality that he's working with now, and they are ready to get rid of him. And everybody knows what I think of inaccurate appraisal.
So are you making a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we go with, J&D Founder Incorporated.
I'll second that. Or John.
Doesn't matter.
Who wants it?
Nicole, you want it?
Sure.
Sure. Motion by Nate, second by Nicole. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Welcome.
No.
Welcome.
We look forward to
Thank you for
working
showing
with
up.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
you. Yep.
Yeah.
We
The
appreciate
other
it.
thing I wanted to let you know too is when we are out doing assessing, we have, I wanna say metal, but we have signs on our car.
Mhm.
So that, because some people get a little bit nervous that, why are they slowing down
Sure.
and all that, so we do have signs on our
Oh,
cars so
magnetic
that you know,
signs.
Okay.
so that you know it's us.
We appreciate that.
Thank you
So-
very much.
No.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We will try to make every board meeting, unless the cows are out.
It happens.
Yes, it does.
Do you
So,
have a question,
thank you
Marilyn?
very much.
Yeah,
We
were there
appreciate it.
dollar figures on all these?
Yeah, there was.
There was.
They were at, you wanna know?
Yeah.
Okay, so Homemaker was at 14, hold on a second, I just read it.
Yeah, the 14,000.
Yep, 14,000. Muser was at 10, the 10.4,
And that was accurate.
well, that was accurate. Sorry,
But
that was accurate.
in-house evaluation was a lot more on that,
Yes,
that year. That was $30,000 extra.
and Muser was 4,000 maintenance and reevaluation was 5,000 additional.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back next month.
Okay.
Jason, you're up next, capital improvement for your discussion.
You get
Jason
that.
Bitsy.
Thank you.
All right. The last
last meeting, I gave you a draft of the capital improvement, plan report. All the information that was in that report, kind of briefly went over it with everybody. I guess a few of the highlights, since then is, I did add in the C Street project. And we just completed the pavement ratings, need to submit and get them certified at the state. But, what that showed us is that overall, about just under 40% of your roads are in, the 3 to 4 category, which I'm sure you know from driving around. And another just over 30% are in the 5 to 6, so, you know, about 70% of your roads are looking at some type of maintenance and or, rehab within the next 3 to 5 years. So,
5 years.
yeah, having said that, you know, the report includes some, basic information. You do have some additional large expenses that, you know, are coming up with the water and wastewater facilities as well. Those are, you know, pushed out a few years. But, you know, I think I'll ask if you have any specific questions, or if you'd like me to touch on anything specifically. I guess, before we get into that, I would say that, we did submit for a couple of, grant applications, and we did reference the draft, CIP, report as part of our submittals. The next step would be some type of formal approval or formal acceptance of the report. And, you know, as we've talked about in the past, this is kind of the first step in guiding future budget and priority decisions for the village. Like that, are there any specific questions, or would you like me to go more in depth in what the report says? I can do that as well.
We have something, I think. Power Flush made the comment that, if we have any more rag issues, they may not pump, right?
Yeah. He told me it was better this year now, though.
Yeah, but if we don't get that taken care of, that's gonna cost us even more money to get those drains pumped out.
Yeah.
So I think putting some sort of screening system is gonna be I'm not gonna say top priority, but you put a screen in now, we're gonna save lots of money down the road.
You're talking about flushable wipes?
Yeah. Flushable wipes, white mice, condoms, feminine hygiene products, applicators. What else do you find down there, Mike?
Them gloves from the
Nursing home?
nursing homes, all kinds of stuff.
If we could get some kind of screening system to screen that out, so we're not having issues, Mike's not having issues with the pumps, and then Power Flush won't have issues with, if they won't take it, then you're gonna probably call Bitech, and they're gonna be even more expensive to come and pump them tanks out.
You have to go back out in the field and pick all them rags back up in the spring. So it's.
Do you know what you're talking price wise?
A lot.
A lot. To get the new screening system.
Oh, it could be anywhere from what, 500,000 to $1 million?
Oh.
Because it's SD and it's all over the building itself.
Yeah.
And the screen runs continuously, so it's gonna be heated and everything.
Yeah.
So, large number,
Yeah.
that's not in the
Can we
report
start
now.
sending letters out to everybody that you cannot put this stuff in the
I'll just remind everybody too that, you know, this is a
Yeah.
living document, and so it's one of those that, that can change as priorities change, you know, as emergencies come up, and it's a guiding document for the village to kind of, what we'll call, do short-term / long-term planning for budgeting. So if the village is, you know, looking to add some additional projects that aren't in here now, you know, hence the screening system, that's something that we can talk about more in depth with the water department, get some budget numbers and some details on what that may include, and we can certainly add that into the system if that's the village, or into the report if that's the village's wishes.
And a big grant.
Yeah, so, you know, you'll see some of the dollar values in there, and I think you guys just had your budget meetings, and obviously, you know, with the roads portion, we already applied for a few grants, and we'll see where we go with those, but yes, this is one of those things that when you apply for grant funding, having some type of formal document and a plan helps out in your application process, as far as what I'll call the scoring system. And, you know, the people that are rating the applications or trying to decide who gets the money, you know, look at that and say, okay, this municipality has some type of plan, they've evaluated this, you know, it helps out when applying for those grant funds. So.
So when will we know about anything, road grants or?
April, I thought is what.
Yeah, I believe
schedule
that,
said.
so we applied for 3 road grants. One, is through the local roads allocation, so it's county allocation project. I believe those come out, December-ish, when they make their decision at the county level. And that's a small amount. I think they have $60,000 throughout the county. They usually pick 2 or 3 projects where they allocate funding on that. And then, in addition.
That was for Janesville Place.
That was, yes, yep, so that was for the
So
one
that's
block.
like a determining factor whether or not we do anything there.
Right. The other 2, one was for Galena from Gilbert out to the west, and the other one was from Janesville Street from Gilbert out to the east. Those 2 were in the supplemental discretionary applications. Those go through a state evaluation process. They meet sometime in January, go through their rankings, and typically get notified early spring on those. So, having said that, there wouldn't be, most likely wouldn't be any construction in 2026. You'd go through the design process and then typically construction. With those, you do have up to 5 years to spend that money, so you have time to look at that. And those, the 2 bigger projects, those would be funded somewhere between 50 and 90%, so at least a minimum 50% for those projects. So that's where we stand with those.
Do we have to approve the CIP? Cause I thought we already did, didn't we? Or did we not?
No,
We talked about it.
It's a approval of the document
Right.
itself, not the budget, CIP, not the budget. And that's a separate process. Hopefully, as you come into next year's budget process, you would look at this
Allocate
document,
some of that.
review some of the priorities and funding, see how that fits into your projects, or your process of the budget, how you're going to fund it, what projects need to go out for grant funding. It would be something that, you know, is looked at throughout the year, both by Batterman and as the village here, as you start looking through projects. And like I said, it's I'll call it a living document, and it'll be updated, you know, as needed.
We got a lot of road work ahead of us.
There's a lot of work in here in general. I mean, each one of the categories had a number of projects in there, so that's good. You know, it's good outlook. Everybody has a wish list. So you'll see that, you know, attachment E kind of breaks it down by years here, and you'll see in 2026 it's pretty light as far as any type of actual work. There's some televised and cleaning in there, and then a couple of plans or studies if some funding would become available for that. little bit more, busy as we get into years 2, 3, 4, and 5. But like I said, that, as you get into those budget cycles, that's where you start to prioritize more grants and things of that nature.
So have you got a hold of anybody for the screenings or the televising?
I have.
Did you get any of that?
I have. So I reached out to, I think, 3 companies. Depending on your system and how much you do, it's anywhere between $35 and $50 a lineal foot. We had talked, I think, at the last meeting of looking at Janesville and Galena in anticipation of maybe submitting grants and or doing work, so. In general, I think we had 10,000 in here just each year for televised and cleaning for both sanitary and storm, so that's about 200 lineal feet, at the high rating. So, it depends, a lot of the contractors I talk to, you get some economy of scale, the more you do, the closer they are, prices come down. If you want just one line out in the middle of nowhere, might be a little bit more expensive. Access, was it hard to talk about, Janesville Street and Galena obviously are very wide roads, so they wouldn't need much traffic control. If it was a smaller street where maybe they need to set up a detour or something where they couldn't get vehicles around their big truck, then a little bit more expensive, so a range.
We need to get that done before we do any street work.
Yes.
So,
I know Galena was relined.
Yeah, I have, we did find some records, and I have a map put together of all of the, streets that have been either televised or cleaned over the past 10 years, and some that have some lining notes in it as well.
I thought Edward Street and Galena Street were all redone. I thought Edward Street was redone when they did that.
When they did the apron, yeah.
So what do you need approval on tonight, or just enough?
It's up to the village, at some point, some type of formal either acceptance of this report or approval of this report.
And we could modify that, is what you said.
Yeah.
So if we have that approved, you're still gonna work on it, like what Nate's talking about,
Yes.
we could add into that. Just like
Absolutely.
we did C Street.
Yep.
And then we got it approved, and I think that looks better for us.
And like he said, it'll look better for the grant if it's not just a draft, it's an
Yeah.
actual legit.
Yeah.
I would make a motion to approve the CIP.
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion by Nicole, second by Roland, any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? I don't think we have copies of your new revised one, but,
I will send those over.
yeah,
to you.
just send them via
Yep.
email and then send them to Stacy, she can get them out
Okay.
to us, we can look through it.
Sounds good.
If we, get that grant for Janesville Place, do you think that's something we could do next year,
We could,
as small as it is?
yeah, I mean, I think, it was around 60,000 or so, so
Yep.
let's say they break it out into 3 projects, you would get 20,000 of that, paid for through the grant, and so possibly, if the funding's available. I think the idea when we talked about the grant submittals is that would be kind of in coordination with the main road there.
Yep.
To do it all at once, but if, depending on how those grants get allocated, we can talk about
Yep.
the timing of the construction of it. I mean, it's just the one block, so it's a pretty straightforward,
I just know
design
we
project.
gotta start eating the elephant.
Mhm. We gotta start doing something here.
Yep, so, okay. All right,
Thank you.
thank you for your time, Jason. Number 19, 2026 contract with Richter Consulting LLC. Hey, you wanna talk about this?
The contract ends November 20th. And if we don't renew his contract, we have nobody to sign off on the wastewater treatment plant DMR reports. His compensation is going up. Oh geez Louise, what was it, like,
$28.50 a week.
yeah. I think he said 3%.
It's going up to what?
Just going up 28.
Oh.
Going to 28,
It's going up.
Okay, up to
$28
that.
and 50 cents a week.
From what it was.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes, 950.
Yeah, yeah. That sounds better than what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a decimal point in there.
I'll make a motion to approve, the, contract with Richter Consulting LLC.
Yeah, second.
Which one do you want to say? You second it?
Yeah.
You said it.
Motion by John, second by Roland. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, number 20, lawnmower repairs.
Yeah, I talked to Tim and we're getting one new pump on one side and the other side, he's gonna try to put seals in it. And he said, if he opens it up and there's a bad bearing, it could be mower. But he put a, 3,500 to $4,000 to get the mower fixed. So if everything goes good, that's what it'll be, but, you know, so.
That's for both sides.
Yeah. He's just putting the seal, the one pump will be brand new. The other ones, he just put the seals back or in the pump. And the motor's good. That hasn't burned a drop of oil all summer, so. But. I know there's like 19,000 right now for a new mower.
Cause it was about 2,800 just for the one side, wasn't it? That first one.
I think
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So it's,
It's so hard to get them pumps off. The labor's what the big thing is.
How old is that mower?
I think Devin said he mowed that John Deere too. He was here, what, 9 years? So it must be like 7 years old.
Yeah, 'cause it's only got 700 and
Yeah.
708 hours.
I can't believe it only has,
A lot of hours.
we put like, had 508 when this spring. So them guys must not have mowed it all. Oh, come on, man. I put probably 40 hours or 45 on my mower helping, so.
Yeah, but the hour meter doesn't work on the John Deere.
No, that's not bad.
But I think you're better off.
Don't sugarcoat it,
putting
buddy.
money into it.
No.
yeah.
You know, you're looking
Yeah.
at $20,000 for another,
At least.
for a nice Ferris mower.
And the older equipment's usually better than 75.
And Mike said this is comfortable, right?
Yeah.
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 I'll make a motion to go ahead and get total repairs done on it.
Second.
It's ready for next spring.
Motion by Roland, second by Danielle. Any other discussion?
Yes. Mike and I were talking the other night.
Yeah.
There's a time that we're gonna have to figure out when that is for trade-in value on that
Yeah.
mower.
You gotta ask somebody.
Because if we go past that time where they're only gonna give us $2,000 for that mower for trade-in, then you might as well run it till it's dead.
Right.
But we gotta figure out, and I wanted to make sure it's okay that Mike can talk to somebody what that time is to trade it in. If you trade it in and still get $12,000 for it, you know, when it's got 1,200 hours on it, trade it in, you know, spend $10,000 on a new one. I think that's something we should give Mike authority to.
So I can call, or talk to Jonathan Tractor, that's one of the salesmen, and talk to him about how much, or how many hours we should put on it for a good trade-in.
Yeah, cause otherwise, you know, you get past that time, that this mower's just gonna nickel and dime us. you know?
Yeah.
Well, we need to repair it to trade it in,
Yeah.
so let's vote on this and then, so we've got a motion on the table. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Then is everyone okay with Mike having that conversation? I don't think we need a motion to do it, I think that's just normal, that's what your job is, so. Yeah, find out what that is and then bring that back to us, Mike, so we know,
Okay.
so we can have a plan formulated. Thank you. Number 21, Dodge Ram deletion and needed repairs to truck.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
Have a good night, Jason.
See ya.
Well,
Does someone want to explain this so everyone understands?
I don't know if we got the paperwork or not here. Well, the Dodge Ram was taken in for recalls. And,
No, there's not.
there's nothing in there. Dodge Ram was taken in a couple of weeks ago for recall items. They fixed one of them, what was it, gear shift or whatever?
And the shifter wasn't going in the park, right?
Yeah, shifted that, and then the other thing was, must've been something to do with the SCR valve, or SCR, which is like a catalytic converter on a diesel. It's been deleted.
So that means it's been removed.
Yeah, it's still there, it's just all bored out.
Okay.
It's been all punched out. You're still burning DEF in it, right?
Yeah.
Which,
It's that where they couldn't fix the second recall because of that being.
If you waited, you
said he couldn't, yeah, if it's, yeah, that's why he didn't touch it.
well, I was in touch with them today. They said everything's obsolete, you can't get parts to refix it. If it was to, you'd probably have to go to junkyards to piece stuff together to get parts to fix it. He says you have to pay $20,000 to get that back up and running, you know, if that. He says you'd have more into that than that what that truck is worth. He says it's better off the way it is right now.
Just leave it be.
But
well, on the flip side though, I mean, we've been told that it can't be resold that way.
I
So
would
we're
have to
just
go
stuck
with
with it.
run her into the ground, I guess.
Yeah.
Take it to auction.
That can still come back to bite you.
Yeah,
yeah, the feds, if they find out about it, you're getting charged so many thousands of dollars per day.
It's 5,000, is it 5,000 a day?
It's a 2011.
Now, from what I was reading on recall, how they figured this out is, it was a reflash to the ECM. So, when you're a dealer tech, they train you what numbers to look for, and what happens when somebody goes in there and reflashes that ECM. That number does not match anything that Chrysler had for it. So they're right there, they say, it's been deleted. There's a program in this computer that they don't recognize. Right there, if it was under warranty when they did this, it voided all of it. You know, I think the people that did this should be responsible for it. You know, I think it's time to get hold of a DA and let him do some digging here to see who did this. I don't think taxpayers, cause this is two now that they've done. They did that to the big truck and now to this one.
Was the big truck fixed?
The big, yeah, that cost about 13,000 to get back in the federal emissions. And then they With had all to the do other one.
What's that?
With all the expenses, with the lawyer fees and everything else.
Somebody should be held accountable. I guess I wanna clear the village of anything upcoming.
And who'd you talk to on this, the parts? You talked to Chrysler, or
Yeah.
you talked right to?
Frank Boucher there. I think he was a tech that worked on it. The way he sounded, he was pretty familiar with it. And, he said, which there is something down by the muffler there that's unplugged the wire. He said, that goes to your EGR, that's been disconnected or, so. But I says, he still burns DEF in it, and I put my nose right down the end exhaust, all I can smell is warm, moist air, no diesel. So it's still burning clean, which don't make sense to me if it's been deleted. That would be smoking you out. In my book, other trucks that I know it's been deleted, you stand next to them, your eyes are burning just from the diesel smoke coming out of them. No, there, I went right down the tailpipe.
Is that what creates the black smoke?
Well, that's what the DEF fluid's supposed to take care of.
But he's still burning DEF in it, so something's still working on that DEF, in my book.
But yeah, they could have just eliminated the EGR valve with a, and then they would, like I said,
The board,
they would have to reprogram the ECM, otherwise your check engine light's gonna be on, cause the computer's gonna pick up, hey, I don't
when
recognize
she
you.
said to look on the back of that, there's a flange. He says, if there's a welder on that flange, that means that's been cut, bored out, and re-welded. I don't know if there's a weld there or not.
Is that illegal?
Federal.
Yeah.
Well, and it's never been discovered or known until now because
We
we got safety recalls and took it back to the dealer. So from the purchase of this truck until now, the maintenance has not been done by the dealer, which is why it was never found out before.
I guess I just wanna clear the village from being liable of any wrongdoing from this point forward. If anything ever come back on it, I would point the fingers back to the previous DPW, Joe North, whoever's on the DPW when they got the truck. Fingers would have to go back to him, cause he had done it without board approval. I haven't seen anywhere in any minutes where he brought it to the board about doing it. It was just done on his own, so I think all fingers should point to him.
You know, it's just kind of funny how, you buy a truck and it doesn't go back for any kind of maintenance.
Well, it went for maintenance, it just didn't go back to the dealer for maintenance.
Right, that's what I meant, back to the deal, under warranty.
Yeah, it went for maintenance.
So, that's what surprised me, cause it's under warranty, why wouldn't it go back?
Well, if they did that, it'd be null and void.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what the warranty was.
Right, that's why they didn't take it.
That's right.
Well, it could have been done after the warranty was done, I mean, who knows?
Well, yeah,
what was done.
that's true too. Usually powertrains can last, 100,000 or.
11, I don't know what their warranty was, it might have been 2-year warranty.
Powertrains usually up to about 100.
Yeah, I just wanna,
What is the purpose of doing this?
it's your EPA, it means the exhaust coming out of these new trucks right now is cleaner than the air going in. It's hard to believe, but in these new diesels, that's why these new trucks, you see the white stack. They don't blow smoke, it's just that DPF. And they say the air coming out of them exhaust systems are cleaner than the air going into the air cleaner. So, and that's the purpose of diesel, or the DEF, diesel exhaust.
Well, there's more to that than just the DEF fluid.
Yep.
Well, Nicole, were you asking why this would have been done to the truck?
Yeah.
Because maintenance costs and everything are higher if the system is in there and remains.
What it does, that filter plugs up, and instead of going in and costing money to get that cleaned out.
Operation of that thing is sad,
The
when it
E-rate
senses to turn on,
constantly chasing that.
it heats up the exhaust.
Kinda like a catalytic converter getting plugged, you gotta replace the catalytic converter.
What's it cost to get a DPF clean, 5,000?
No. Biggest thing is, okay, you take for example, the plow truck, the Peterbilt there that was had. Okay, they had always had troubles with that. There's a switch on the dash on all these other semis, newer ones, that it has to be on the on position and it'll automatically do regens. If it fails or if you didn't get it warm enough, you can do a manual regen. They were having problems with the old Peterbilt, and so versus just educating themselves on it, we got the whole paper trail to the old Peterbilt where in 17 it all started. They had a guy come in, gut it out,
put a new Australian program in it. Anyway, we found out about it. I'm basically the only one that can talk about it because the rest of them were in closed session. What I learned in open session, which I can discuss. That truck got put back to normal, or back to OEM specs. Now, Rollin and I and Mike last winter, we plowed the snow all winter there. And one day it went down, so I pulled out my adapter for my own trucks and hooked it up with the app on my phone, and we ran a regen. Truck was fine after that. It's just a maintenance thing. And we had to do it again right before we sold the truck. We had an hour, 15-minute regen there. It's a maintenance procedure. But rather than getting it done correctly or doing it or educating themselves, they took it upon themselves to mislead the board in 2017 to get it illegal.
So I understood the whole piece with that truck, why on the Dodge, what's the benefit of it?
It was probably, if you don't get them on the highway and run them so they get hot, and burn, they will plug up. And this putzing around town, that's the biggest problem with Peterbilt. And it's probably the same thing here, that's why it'd be good to get that out and go to Janesville with it, and drive it. And this putzing around town with the diesel is the worst thing you can do to them.
That's why you went with a smaller plow truck
Right.
now, because it will work it more when you're plowing. And you'll be using the Ram for that too. One thing I do not buy, and I'll talk to the people I know, is when they're trying to tell him that the parts are not available for 2011. That part I don't buy.
You have to make
Yeah,
it
I
20
don't
years.
either. I probably go on Rock Auto right now and find them parts.
Yeah, they got, by law, they have to make them for 20 years.
And I know
You
the
just
guy
don't
you
wanna
were
do it. So
talking
if they don't
to.
wanna do it, I'd call a different Dodge dealer and, you know, but it's gotta get back to standard, cause, you know, if Chrysler turns it into the feds now, they know right where that truck is at, and they come back
Yeah,
and,
I asked them if
and
there's
find the village.
any way of that getting recorded to the feds, they said, no, we don't record that. You know, we get thousands of trucks in here and trade, them and deleted, he says they just go to the auction.
I wouldn't believe that.
No.
That's a good way to lose a dealership, so.
Yeah, 'cause it's still illegal to sell.
You bet.
Federally, it still comes back to the original person who did it.
And then if it ever got in an accident, insurance company's already dying. Anything that's been deleted. So then the village would be all, you know,
This is the village.
responsible for all that.
Village liability, I think something's gotta be done here. What we wanna do, I don't know.
Well, what do we need to do to the truck? So let's just talk about that. Cause that's one
Let me do
issue.
some
and
more
then-
research.
We can do some research on if there's, I only talked to one person, so.
Yeah.
Maybe we can research a little more.
Figure out if it can be fixed, that's what we gotta figure out, right?
And, whatever it costs, I think it should be charged back to the DPW prior. For getting that deleted to begin with.
Probably that's email to the attorney. Would
So I
everyone
guess
agree
it's
with
up to
that?
How far you wanna go with it, you know?
Well,
There's gonna be attorney fees involved.
All it is costing us taxpayers more money that we don't.
That we didn't need to spend to begin with.
Right, and that's why it should go back to whoever had it deleted. The total bill, lawyer fees, everything should be. There's no reason why the taxpayers need to pay any of this. So,
Do you have any paper trails back to when this happened? Have we started to look?
There's paper trails completely on the Peterbilt.
and I don't know on this Dodge, like I say, we just found out about it 2 weeks ago and went into, that's the first we knew about it, so.
If there's no.
Is there maintenance records on file somewhere though, like, when?
There, we found zero for maintenance records.
At quick look,
Like not even records of when the oil was changed in it?
all
none of
we
that?
can find are maintenance charges to someone local.
We changed the
So,
oil in it and the filter
that's
went
where the
through it,
maintenance
and
was
that
done.
air filter alone was the nastiest one I ever seen in my life.
And the oil in the van, when you did that, it was syrup?
Yeah, it was pretty black, yeah.
It sounds like we need to do some research and figure out what it's gonna be and then figure out where to go. Do you want the lawyer contacted now? Or do you want to wait until you have more information?
I'd wait until you had more
Yeah.
facts.
Cause I don't wanna
Figure
waste
out
money
what-
for that
what it's
either.
gonna
No sense in
cost.
getting any more charges up than need to be, let's get some facts together.
Yeah.
Well, and if it is proven, they should have to, that person should have to pay the lawyer fee too.
I'd like to say, what I was told, there's no prison time, but it's a real hefty fine. A lot more than,
Well, it is a felony,
yeah.
so.
Yes, it is a felon.
Yeah, figure out what the parts are gonna cost, the labor, all of it. First.
I said, that's all I found out today, so we wanna look into it deeper.
We gotta repair the truck. We gotta repair the truck.
It's fine the way it is, but it's not legal.
It's not legal. It's not good.
So now you're gonna be guilty, you're gonna have the village guys driving an illegal truck.
You're more legal driving the squad car than the Ram.
And I know your comment, you don't want it on this board, but that's not gonna fly. You're gonna
Right.
have to, you know what I mean, legally.
I mean, sure, it's
We got-
water under the bridge, but we still gotta do with all the pollution that's left back from the past water.
Right.
Figure out the parts, and get her fixed, and then we'll move on.
Then we can deal with the issue.
Deal with the
You know,
Yeah.
they have no proof. One guy, hey, yeah, the city,
Yeah, well,
fire is your friend.
see if we can find something going
Fire
back in
is
history.
your
huh?
friend.
It still comes back to you, I think.
Okay. Any other discussion on that? 22, Footville Fire Department water usage. You have an ordinance from
From Margaretville here.
Overgrove.
Yep, and then there's stuff in here from the PSC that talks about it being hauled on tanker trucks. That's not in our utilities, and that's where they're supposed to be paid for it, so that last fire they had out, putting Z's combine fire out, when they came back and refilled the truck, there should be, they should have reported that water usage to the village. That was 2 months ago. They haven't done it yet. I think it's gonna take you to write a letter to them, to tell them to follow the PCS guidelines, that their district and the utility district is different.
The fire service district and the water utility service area are two different things. And while yes, there is the fire protection district budget, there is also, and that's being acknowledged, what's being, not acknowledged is the rest of the tariffs for PSC. And that includes bulk water, and that does pertain to the fire department.
And then if we also had an ordinance on it, it would be easier to go back on that other utility that took the water too.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like here, the fire department owes the village of Footville a lot of money for past gallons of water taken.
So,
But the thing is, they gotta be accountable for all of it. I mean, even if they do training and they figure they use 1,000 gallons, they gotta report that to the village saying, we can't charge them for that water, but it's still gotta be reported,
that
and they're
was
not
metered
reporting.
last time, correct? And you guys have that metered number? So one question, I'm looking at Orfordville's ordinance, which is very thorough. 310-2, number C, a charge for a volume of water used for each fire, either through a tank or supply or from hydrants, will be billed to the township or the fire department. So,
Well, I presume, and I am presuming, because I don't have it in front of me, I am presuming when they say bill to the township, that would be a township that they are not contracted to work with, first off. We are contracted with both Center Township and Magnolia, and they provide fire district protection funds.
right,
Part of the responsibility within that is that they don't have their own water utility,
mm-hmm,
okay? So their budget is to cover the water that they take from this water utility to farm out.
right,
And that's not being done.
right,
So in that case, then the fire department would be billed for what they took to use, say, to put out these combine fire.
mm-hmm.
And if we're not getting any documentation, no billing's being done at all.
Do they have a fill with a meter on it?
Pardon me?
Do they have a fill valve with a meter on it over here?
If they have the private fire hydrant behind them,
Right,
okay, all they need to do is get a hold of DPW, they can bring a meter up and put it on
okay,
for a service fee. Or if they can make arrangements, possibly they have their own meter, but then, quite honestly, we would have to be, trustworthy enough to know that they would document it and report it, and that's not been occurring. That's all I'm gonna say about that, it's not occurring, it hasn't occurred, I've been here over a year now, and there has never been any documentation received from the fire department for water taken.
Right.
So, it's not happening. We have called, I have asked, and I've had Mike Tinder check into it as well. Because we have heard that a request was made for a 5-inch meter. They don't even make 4 and 5-inch portable meters to hook on a hydrant.
okay,
And their connections for their hoses, I believe, are 2.5 or 3 inch in diameter, correct?
2.5 on ears and then 4.5
Okay,
is the big nozzle, unless you have a.
but we have meters for those, I mean, that's what we use and they hook their hoses
Oh,
on.
yeah, the 2.5 side, yeah.
So, I'm not sure what the request is for, because they have the equipment to use on the private hydrant behind them. There would be no reason for a 5-inch meter.
5-inch meter, we'd have to do it like like an industrial.
Underground.
Underground.
Right, which there would be no reason for it, and the other question, I guess, that is on the table is, as long as they have the private hydrant behind the fire department, why are they using random village hydrants to fill from?
the response I got to that question is they, said when they use that one, it stirs up the water.
When they use that one, it stirs up the water the other way, so kinda there's no difference.
It shouldn't
tell me
stir
the
things
answer.
up.
No, but I'm saying, you understand
Understand.
the confusion
Tank's
in
clean.
the
And that
response.
was what was happening, was stirring everything up, was the tank was so full of debris, that once you started drawing water real quick out of it, it was pulling that in. Now the tank is clean, it's, there's no debris close to the nozzle or goes back, it should come out just fine.
But they still need to be accountable for the gallons of water they use and report it.
It just isn't the village's responsibility to provide a commodity if others, even if we're contracted them, because that's what their budgets are for, is to reimburse the village for their commodity.
Right.
So, it's not being done.
Right, and that's why I wondered, would we build the fire department or would we build the township that it gets used in?
No, because they're providing their budgets to the fire department to be able to pay for the commodity.
Well, my point is, we provide money to them too, so
I
would we
believe-
essentially be getting our money back?
No, because
Well,
they
I
do
believe
get billed for the
fire-
water. for the, only in the fire station and out of that 2.5-inch valve.
Right, my only point is, we're all putting money in based on our population.
Mhm.
But we're paying the hydrant charges here.
But if you look at the fee schedules, that shouldn't be the case, because they are to be paying a valve fee for the 2-inch valve in the garage.
Right.
And for the private hydrant behind. They should be paying the village for that.
Right, my point is that Center and Magnolia don't pay that hydrant charge. Do you understand my point? So we'd be asking them to repay us with money that we're actually paying them to get money back to the water utility. So why would we not just bill it to the township?
The water is separate from the tax.
If the town, because they're not paying a hydrant charge in the township.
The water fees are different than the taxes, number one.
Correct.
Okay, and the hydrants are here and the fire station is here. So it's their responsibility to pay the hydrant fees to the village out of the budgets that they receive. And they receive 3 budgets, so they would have to take a portion of the hydrant fee out of all 3 budgets then. A percentage.
Yeah, and I understand that. I'm just saying if the fire's here in town, no one would get billed, correct?
No, they don't, but they have to record the water and turn it in as non-revenue water.
Correct.
For a fire here within the village.
But if the fire's in center, that'll be billable, correct?
That's correct.
And I think.
Do you understand my point?
Then the fire
It's that
department should be
Foothill would
billing.
be paying part of that.
So just like the last fire that I can come up with, Eric Z out here in the Convine fire.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to him on how much, on what he got billed for on that fire. He got billed for that fire through the fire department.
Did he get billed more than the $750 call?
Well, I don't know what's all included in that $750 call.
Yeah.
Is that so many gallons of water?
No, it's not water. They don't go for water, they just go for response.
I don't know, maybe a portion of it is. So
it's salaries, it's.
I would doubt it,
workers.
I would doubt it, because that should be billed by
Yeah, it's a truck and a
the
pizza.
office to the,
What's that, Mike?
whoever had the fire.
What's that, Mike?
Whoever, so the combine, the guy that owned the combine that they used the water on, that is billable if he's outside the fire protection.
He's inside the fire
So it'd be
protection.
up to the village to bill the guy that owned the combine. But it's the fire department's responsibility to tell us how much water they used.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to say, is that it's not,
He was inside he was inside the boundaries. So he wasn't
But,
he was in the
but
village.
still, anybody that has a fire.
Yeah.
The village or the fire district, because
Yeah.
that's,
That's what I meant.
Yeah, they had, some big fires when I worked at Beloit, and it was all billable water. The tire fire over on Copeland, and then the big one down there at the chem tool plant down in South Beloit, that was all city produced water.
because that was outside of the city's utility, correct?
Right, so it's actually, a company that owns South Beloit that billed it for the water, but then we get.
So the combine fire water should have been paid back to the village. And it'd be the farmer's insurance that would cover that charge, but there's nothing ever been.
We didn't get no documentation from them how much water was used,
Right,
we
so
can't bill it.
That's and then it's the easy part, they know how much water they use, it's just a simple thing, just telling us what we use, cause it counts against our water loss. And that gets into the DNR and all that other stuff, but it's a simple thing. I mean, I don't know what's so hard about reporting the water that you use to the utility.
Well, Orfordville has a provision, if they don't have a meter, they can estimate based on flow and time.
Well, they're not gonna estimate it. There is absolutely zero coming into this
Oh,
office.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
But that's what we're asking.
I understand.
It's gotta be accounted for.
Yeah, and I guess what I don't wanna see is, my point is, if somebody has to pay for the water, I don't want it to see money we're giving them to pay for the water, because we already paid for the water.
But it's still gotta be accounted for. They've
It's
got
still gotta
to
be
come up-
accounted for and paid, yes. That's clear from this ordinance. And
Okay,
clear
but you
from
can't
the,
go just by the ordinance, you are looking at the PSC as well, and what they're
Yes.
saying about bulk water.
Yeah.
And it does refer to fire departments and tanker trucks.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the rules that we need to be in compliance with that.
right, because I assume this ordinance is in compliance with the PSC, because it matches up.
So can we start with?
Is that correct? Like, did you read this ordinance?
I read through it, yes.
So can we start with the Village of Football's ordinance for water and get that nailed down? Cause then we'll have a process that we need to follow.
I mean, that would
And
make
then,
sense.
and then we need to
The
enforce
ordinance
it.
should follow the PSC.
Correct.
Correct.
But what I'm saying is, we need to work on the ordinance, we need to get that put in place, it will have the procedure nailed down, and then we can move forward with enforcing it. So, I think we just need to focus on getting the ordinance in place, and aligned with the PSC, and then we can enforce it.
Well, I don't disagree with you, Nicole, but I will say, an ordinance is an extra security blanket for us, for the village, that's for sure. But what the PSC says is already clear, and I don't think that it should be that we should wait until the ordinance is, all written and ready to go before we enforce it. We're just getting further behind the ball. Because we have a lot of water that is not accounted for the way things are right now, and we do have to report that.
How much, Mike, how much have you got for unaccountable water?
I'd have to look at the report,
You
you
can't.
can't go over 15%, I know that. Then the DNR would come back at you and say, hey, you need to do surveys or find where the water's going.
And in years prior, I will say that I have found a DNR report where we were graded, we were not cited, but it was recommendation, which is next level down from a citation. It's something you need to fix like now. And it was, unaccountable water was greater than 10% at that time. So,
When was the last time it was recorded from the fire department?
I couldn't tell you, I've been here for a year and I've never seen it.
But there's no record of
I've
it?
never found any old records.
No, because that's how long it's been since, and the thing of it is, I do know from talking to, Wanda worked here with me for a while, and Wanda and Marion billed and received documentation back when they were in the office. Somewhere between then and now, it just stopped happening.
Mary, I've gone a while.
Yeah.
A little.
Yeah. And somewhere in between then and now, I couldn't tell you because we have not, in anything that we've got in there currently, we can find no records of documentation from the fire department, so, I don't know.
So now, get the ordinance going, and also send a letter over there and say,
Here's the
Here
PSC
and now.
guidelines, read
Read.
all 3 pages, this is what we expect you to turn in.
and we expect to see these, usage.
Even when they're
Before
training,
this even gets
even when they're
done.
training, they gotta
Just record
Yeah.
the water.
record the water,
anything
they
else.
don't get billed for it, but they gotta record the water that they use.
Effective immediately.
So then you're approving that they not pay for any of the bulk water they take,
For training, they don't,
for training.
they don't have
Okay,
to.
well, we need to specify here because
Yeah,
that's
but if
been
they're
the
filling their tender truck
crust of
to
the
go put a
issue.
fire out in Center Township, they need to pay the village for the water they use. I don't
Or-
care how,
Somehow
if
the
that,
village needs paid for that.
right,
However
the
that
fire
happens.
department's taking it out, so I think the fire department should pay for it.
Yeah.
Then they can up their
Charge.
their charge for Center Township for that. And they can explain to Wayne why it's going up, because Footville's charging them for the water. And I mean, and that's probably not gonna be that much, cause they're talking, we're like $9.39 per 1,000 gallons. So it's not a ton, but, I bet that 10% that we're behind in the DNR report would come right back up to, hey, there's nothing wrong here. And Richie was here that one meeting, said that he flushed 10,000 gallons out. never turned it in. He said he dropped it off at, the sewer plant down there, but you talk to our DPW guys and they had nothing from him. So somebody's lying. Is it Richie or is it our guys?
Well, and that needs to be brought up again too, because
Yeah,
they're
it's
not
gonna get
supposed-
turned in up here.
But they're not supposed to flush without a DPW.
Right, they're not supposed to open,
Should be brought up.
unless there's a fire here in Footville, where they're hooking up their hose. They should not be opening hydrants unless the DPW guy is here with them. 'Cause there's a service fee for that too.
I mean, we have to have ordinances and rules, that's what we're here for.
But the PSC has, the PSC has the rule.
Right.
So that, I mean, that's a state, that's a state rule that the fire department should be following, and they're not. So the PSC now will come back on us, because we're over that usage, and it's our responsibility to go after them. They're not gonna go after them, we have to.
Right here, it's required, the fire department is required to keep a record of its water usage at hydrants with either a portable hydrant meter or by estimating usage from the size of their tender trucks. Then they submit a form to the municipal office that is used for billing purposes. Forms should be submitted to the municipal office on a weekly basis. So every time they put any water in that tender truck, should be turned in to the office.
Do we have a form?
We can create a form. I mean, this is something that
You can
has
check
just,
with Orfordville what they use and
we can,
see if there's a designated form to use for it.
It sounds like your fire department should have the form.
I think if we're enforcing.
If we
this,
want a
need
form,
have
we need to
the
make a form.
They submit a form to the municipal office, so it sounds like they're supposed to have the forms over there.
So we can provide them with the form, but
We can provide them with the blank form,
Yes.
and they can make copies.
yeah, we need to work on the ordinance and make sure that we have everything very well detailed.
And their pool fills, tender truck and irrigation pool fills, fire department tender trucks are for purpose of irrigation or to fill swimming pools. Fire department is invoiced $65 per fee, service fee plus highest volumetric rate for residential customers, which is $9.39 per 1,000 gallons. So if they're filling that hydrant truck for a pool fill, I don't know how much you're getting to fill a pool.
I don't know,
That
I've
should be-
asked and they said this year they didn't fill them.
Yeah, I
So-
think a lot of, the only pools they have now, I think most of them their holes.
Right, we'll get a sewer credit.
So,
Like we just did.
Right.
but it's here right here in the PSC, this outline here, pretty much.
So do we wanna draft a letter for that, to explain that, and, I mean, what I did with the underground construction ordinance, I just borrowed. Said, Tim, here's a similar ordinance. I mean, Orfordville's ordinance is pretty good.
But he may have one for this too.
He may
I
have
mean,
one.
Orfordville's got one, so I'm sure there's other communities that do too.
Yeah,
So,
I just try not to get them to reinvent the wheel.
but Orfordville is pretty high tech, but
Yeah.
I don't think ours needs to be quite that high tech. I just think we need to basically follow the PSC rules, the state rules. So then everybody's keeping track of the water usage if they open a hydrant. And it's not coming back to the village. And then the village gets in trouble for it.
Myself, I think that all the roads there from the head of our DPW is also the fire chief, and I think it kinda got swept under the rug in a lot of ways there.
I would think if anybody knows the PSC rules, it should be him.
Yeah. So,
Get a letter made up and send it over to them in a letter.
Tell them to read all 3 pages of the PSC form and tell them we expect this
To be in compliance.
to be in compliance, yep.
I would not just send it to the fire department, send it to the fire commission. And then carbon copy all this on it.
You don't want it sent to the fire department?
We
So
could.
then we can save 32 cents or 35 cents on the post.
I know, it's 42 now,
I
isn't
was
it?
gonna say, I thought it was like 47.
I thought it was 65 or
Oh my
something.
gosh.
You know, for first class.
It's like 78
Email.
cents.
Yeah,
Seventy-
yeah.
78 cents.
It's crazy expensive.
It's either 72
Yeah,
or
first
78.
class is really expensive now.
That's how often I'm shopping.
Just to clarify, you don't want it sent to the fire department, or you do, both?
Both.
Okay,
I think you send it to both.
okay.
And then you're gonna send it to the attorney? Create it for us?
Yeah, or do you wanna
I
just
don't
send
know that
this?
there's
You
really
guys wanna
anything
just
that I
send
gotta
this and say this is kinda what we're
do.
thinking and why we're thinking it?
The 3-page PSC?
No, the Orford.
No, the order
for
bill
bill.
ordinance.
Just change it.
I would just go with the PSC, cause, you know,
They got most of it in Yorkville.
right, the tender truck and firefighting, like Ron said, it's right here, you know? But they gotta read all 3 pages, they just can't highlight the one that says, oh, we didn't gotta pay for water right here. No, you get in the back, and it tells you otherwise.
Do we have any pieces of this already in our ordinances for like
No,
service?
there's like next to nothing.
See, like,
for
that's
water.
why I think we need
We
an
need to
ordinance
have
to
an
address
ordinance.
all
I'm
of
not
this.
saying, that, I am not disputing the fact that we shouldn't have an ordinance in place for a security blanket. But what I am saying is to wait until the ordinance is in place is really, not a pertinent point, because all those things are in place per the PSC right now.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone is disagreeing with that.
Okay,
That's why we send the
That's why I
letter.
think we need to send a letter, here's the guidance,
Just- That starts
okay.
here's
But
our
I-
expectations.
Okay, but Dave, are you saying that you think, the Foothills ordinance should be written from the PSC and not use Orfordville's as a,
Orfordville's
starting point?
Orfordville's is pretty
They got all
fantastic.
that in there.
It's pretty.
Yeah, that's what I'm,
It's
that's
pretty
what I'm
long.
saying, I'm just clarifying that I think that we should just run off of that as long as we
Yeah.
can. Yeah,
Now they have
that's
to
what I think.
change their name.
I mean, that's all we've done with some of the other ones that we've
Right.
done.
No, I think that's a good idea, I thought he was saying we should create our own from the PSC.
I just think this saves attorney fees.
Oh, I think
At
so
least I
too.
hope so.
I agree.
It better.
Most of the stuff's
Yeah.
around there anyway.
So in the letter, John, two of these places, again, just to clarify, you want this sent out by email and not something that you wanna sign as though it's gone through the board, or no?
I just think you send it by email, just send it from the board.
Okay.
If you guys wanna make a motion just to solidify the action, that's fine too, I don't care. But yeah, reading this, it's pretty obvious that things need to be done differently. So.
I'll make a motion, try and adopt this Orfordville.
Oh, we can't do that yet,
No,
but,
we gotta send it to the
Okay.
attorney and have it.
but if everyone's okay with what we've talked about, an ordinance, that's a separate issue than fire thing. But a letter detailing out expectations. Do you wanna see the letter before it gets sent?
I'd like to get it emailed.
So why don't you email it back to us? If anybody has any concerns, they can relay that directly to the office.
Okay.
And if it's not within a half a day or a day, then send it out.
Yeah.
If nobody responds.
Yeah. So it's gonna go to the board, over fire station, and then the commission.
Board first, then fire station and commission. Everyone good with that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, number 23, municipal judge election cycle issue. So I think I understand all of this. So in 2019, the judge resigned. I think that was Dave Kemp at that point.
Oh, it was-
Okay,
yeah,
so then,
yeah.
then we did an election in 2019. And at that point, did the election for a 4-year cycle, which that's the term. But for municipal judges, you can't restart the cycle with an election. You can only follow the ordinance, which is the election needs to be in presidential years for 4-year terms. So what should have happened back in 2019 was a special election to fill the vacancy for 1 year, and then we would have been back on the cycle. Because we didn't know that, in 2023, we did it again. Instead of 24. So that's where we're at. If you read all of this stuff, I think you got all of it. Lisa Tollefson reached out to the Wisconsin Election Commission, recommended we talk to Tim. Tim gave us guidance on this. So 3 things have to happen. 1, the election needs to be voided from 2023. Then we need to appoint an interim judge, like a temporary appointment.
Yeah, that's not the only option we have. We can either avoid the election, or we can have Craig, resign.
Right.
And then the board can reappoint him to finish out this term until the next election. And the reason I'm clarifying that is because if we void the election, like all of the paychecks to him and everything from that time span, I'm not sure how that affects our
Okay.
everything. And then you have the issue
Yeah,
of
that's what I was gonna
citations and all of that if the election is voided.
So if we do a resignation and a reappointment, then at some point in the future, we have to decide to order a special election.
Yes.
The caveat to that is, it has to be within, the meeting that we have to order that has to be within 62 to 77 days for when the election would take place. If let's say we did that tonight, the problem is, we would have to pay for an election and it would be a special election, it would just be us in the county. So we would incur all the fees from the county along with that.
So it needs to be an April
If
election.
we wait until 17th of January, somewhere in there, Melody.
I think it was January 20th, right around, if you had a special board meeting, like a January 20th. Between January 20th and I think it was like February 4th.
Right.
It's that 62 to 77 day mark where we could have it with the regular April election.
Yep, so we would have to hold a special board meeting, because that's gonna cost us less than paying people and paying the county. Order a special election, people that wanna run for that office, like Craig, because I know Craig would like to continue in that, would have up until, I think, wasn't it 28 days or 30 days ahead of the election to turn in their nomination papers. I think that functions the same.
Yeah.
It would
I
follow
think-
our ordinances
yeah,
for nomination
the 28
process.
days sounds
Yeah,
like
and I think
the number.
there's a cutoff date for that. So once those are in, then those names would go on the ballot. The challenge is, though, if we have more than 2 people run, that becomes a primary and we're still gonna have to hold another election. But that's just kind of, that's the hand we got dealt. And we
I don't think anybody's gonna be
fighting for
foolish
it.
enough to take, judge's job in Footville. Not saying you're foolish or anything.
Louder than Craig.
I got just
Okay.
You wanna run for judge?
That's good.
We're gonna go into closed session for police people.
Yeah.
Okay, eventually in this meeting. What happens if we hire police people and they actually write citations and stuff?
We need a judge.
Do we hold those citations off until January 20th?
No, because we can appoint tonight. We can appoint tonight, then we don't have any break in coverage.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
That's why you do the appointment, but not the order.
That was my confusion, is I was trying to lump the appointment and the order all in the
So-
same thing, and they're two separate things, so we can do two different dates.
Does he need to resign tonight for us to appoint?
Yes. If that's the way we wanna go about it, if that's the cleanest.
I think that that's the wisest avenue for us to take, so that we can then plan to have the special board
Special
meeting
board
in
meeting and set up
January.
a
Yes. and
special
then-
election.
Yes.
I mean, that seems to make the most sense to me too.
Yeah,
You
so,
know,
Is it effective enough for you verbally, because you didn't bring a paper resignation, did you?
Right here.
Right here.
He can
Oh,
give
okay.
us-
Okay. Otherwise, I was gonna say, is it enough that it's in the minutes? Does
So
that,
Craig can-
if you were to
yeah,
verbally
Craig
say it?
can
I
write
prefer
that
if
out
he
and
writes
sign
it
it.
out.
Okay.
Right, yep.
I was just thinking,
We
like,
just
I'd
need to
rather
do
have
it the
in
cleanest
writing.
way
Yeah,
possible.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You get to be in the hot
Or
seat,
the
Craig.
hot seat, there you go.
Congratulations.
Make it good now.
so.
I would just say I-
Today's the what, Dale?
Today
Sixth,
is
right?
11/6, yes. And just a simple, I, Craig Keller, resigned from my position as municipal judge for the village of Footville.
Effective immediately. And I put the time on it, or just the date.
And 2 months later.
See,
2
though,
minutes later, you're on board.
this, I mean, I'd rather
We
just
got-
void
You
it
better wait for
whenever.
tomorrow
Minute
morning to
crying?
be on there.
You know, everybody's gonna look at this and go, he resigned and you reappointed him, why did you do that?
2 minutes later.
Cause it's the
Paperwork.
cleanest mess.
I just know election law is complicated.
Yeah.
And if we didn't have years really of
Mhm.
payments to him, how would you explain it if you?
Right.
Yeah,
If you believe it, yeah.
and I suppose, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I suppose even people could go back on citations and go, look at the judge,
Probably.
you know?
Yep.
So, I'm not on social media, so I can't.
He's in the hot seat.
He didn't wear his robe tonight.
No,
You can go get it if you want it.
So if he puts the date that he's resigning as today, why don't we make the date that we appoint him effective tomorrow? And then there's no confusion.
Okay,
yeah, that's fine.
Does that sound fine, Craig?
That's fine with me. So I just put on 11/6/25, I, Craig C. Keller, am resigning my position as the municipal judge for the village of Footville, effective immediately.
Okay, cool.
okay.
Simple, short, to the
So-
point.
We can go out and run.
You got the night off.
So,
So-
do we need to accept and then make a motion to
Yes, I
appoint?
think we should make a motion to accept the resignation.
I'll make a motion to accept Craig's resignation from municipal judge.
Second.
You okay, Craig?
Okay. Alright, so,
And then I will make a motion,
Wait.
I'm sorry.
I got it.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll let
We got
Danielle
some-
back. Danielle, we have a motion to accept Craig's resignation as municipal judge on the table. So, all those in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And we need a motion to appoint Craig as temporary municipal judge effective tomorrow until a special election can be called, and I'm happy to make that motion.
And I will
Do you have to put a date in there? I'm just saying, spring of 2026 or something?
No,
No.
because they're not doing
Okay.
that
No.
either.
We don't wanna attach any kind of dates, cause
Okay.
that starts our clock.
Okay,
We don't wanna start the
just
clock.
gotta do the special meeting to get that set up within
we'll do
that
that in
62 to
January.
77
Yes.
days or whatever. Alrighty,
so you're legal.
I gotta go back to work tomorrow then.
Yeah.
Legal.
Three
Man, that
today.
was a short, that was a short.
Not as
Yeah.
nice as
Yeah.
Okay, so I made the motion, Nicole seconded it, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Alright.
So then we need to put on the calendar, Melody, figure out a date for that special board meeting.
Well, I'm gonna get out of your hair and
Great.
Just let us know at the January meeting when that has to be.
Okay.
Alright.
We'll go have a beer now.
Nah, I don't do that.
Thanks,
I
Craig.
gave that up a long time ago. Stuff's bad for you.
Yeah,
Oh, and all
We
that
got-
is that.
3 hours and 45 minutes.
There's no bank, so.
Okay. And then right along with that, I just had election information for spring elections. Anyone interested in running? Nomination ballots or nomination papers become available in December, get turned in January. We'll have specific dates soon, but just to let people know, especially those board members currently serving.
And not that I want to give you this paper, but if any of you are not going to run again, that are up for election, there's a form to fill out that
Yes.
needs to be back by December 26th.
Yeah, you have to fill out a form.
And I may or may not give it to you.
We may or may not have them in stock.
Number 25, 2026 through 2029 contract with Humane Society.
So I understand that we need to have this contract, but it's my understanding that they're not actually picking animals up, is that correct?
You have to take them to them.
Like if you caught a stray dog, they're not gonna come and get it, you would have to take it to the Humane Society.
So they no longer have their little van to pick animals up?
They haven't done that in
No, I haven't done it.
It's been a long time. Some of
They
the,
never did in Centertown.
some of the challenges I know recently is they don't always accept animals.
Cause they're
Right.
over capacity.
So then and again, I understand that we have to have this, but my dispute is we're paying for a service that we technically can't even get.
Right, so as I was reading the contract, it says they won't accept feral cats, but abandoned cats.
So put the cat in a box and leave it at the door.
So it may be that we have to coach people on their terminology when they take a cat and say, I found this cat abandoned in front of my house, rather than say it's feral. Because that becomes a red flag for them. So I would encourage, if we're gonna pass this, that the village office would, if anyone calls, coach people appropriately
Yeah,
on
yeah.
We can.
terminology.
I learned that with all the wild cats and the stray dogs that have showed up at my house out there.
Yeah.
Don't tell them that.
I can't say that I've had any call, truly, there's not been one call in here about anybody wanting to know what to do with a cat that they caught. But if they do, we
If
can
they
let them
do.
know that, yeah.
Yeah, if they do.
We're not obligated to do this, are we?
No.
Statewide.
Oh, so really, why are
Well, I guess that's my next question, is if we're not obligated to this,
I spend the money.
I don't understand what we're paying for if they're not taking them.
Yeah.
And if that be the case, I can put a cat in a box and leave it on their doorstep, doesn't have anything to do with the Village of Footville.
Right.
So,
This would probably only come into effect if our police would pick one up.
What's
I
the
mean, to me,
cost?
this, it makes sense, I understand why we need it, but if we're not getting the service.
Well, it used to make sense when they'd come out and pick up dead
Right.
animals or
Yeah.
they, you know.
I don't think it makes sense.
What's the
any of it,
cost?
But now,
$1,600 a year?
Wasn't it 18?
Going up to 18.
Oh, it's 18,
Yeah.
yeah.
If we don't need it, I can't see it.
I would say put it in it for us.
Saving money.
Use the money for something in the park, that's ridiculous.
Because like my daughter, she had raccoons that, you know, babies in her garage, and she called them, they won't do it.
Oh, they won't.
No, they
No,
won't
you
do
have to
that.
get special, she had to get a special place, and then they ended up taking them out to Broadhead to the old golf course. So that was cool, yeah. So, yeah, they don't.
They wouldn't have made it that far.
So we need to make a motion to not accept,
I'll make a motion not to accept Humane Society. Renewal
that's
contract.
what I was just doing, Ron.
He beat you
Get
to
it
it.
Okay, motion and a second, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
I'm
number,
sorry, I forgot to say aye.
I
Cause
know.
he stole my
Thunder.
number 26, town website upgrade fee. Looks like they're updating their software and we need to pay $800 for a one-time change to upgrade the website. Have a good night, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Whatever a stack is, their stack is sunsetting and they can't guarantee our website will work the same. without the upgrades. So, like he said,
That's
so
what I would
so
say
one
too.
ten feet.
What?
I said that's what I would say too. I mean, if that's what it's gonna take to keep our website
Right.
going, I mean, I would make a motion to approve, the fee to upgrade the website.
They're pretty good to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll second it.
Any other discussion?
No, but remind me to ask about the email address stuff. If
And
you can.
I'm just wondering about the number 4 no-cost website homepage refresh. Like, what would they do? Would they clean it up or make it, like, do we have a link to our YouTube page on the,
Yes,
okay,
we do. And that was just a call to them and it was a.
put it right in?
Yeah, they put it right in, so, when we've had to go to them with that kind of stuff. I don't know all the details in the email, she says what they'll do is if it's approved and we sign the paper, they will come out and work with us and, that way if we do want any changes visually,
Mhm.
so I'm not, I suppose they'll change what we want or leave what we want or whatever, but
Yeah.
I think it's just the basic functionality of it that we wanna make sure stays the same.
I think reviews like that never hurt, especially if it's not gonna cost, they might have some good ideas or maybe some good suggestions of other things they've done, so that's my only point. We have a motion and a second, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. 27, properties in the village that are not in compliance with nuisance and junk ordinances. Sandy, leave on us?
Yeah, but it's pretty much the ones that we had sent letters to,
Yeah,
and they're either cleaning up or we keep sending letters.
so this may come up in another month or two, and we might have to actually get forceful with them. If we have a police department, that makes it easier.
It makes it a lot easier.
Cause there's a couple we've sent letters too that have done nothing, we've been sending them letters since July.
Yeah, so once we have a police department, then we can
So-
enforce the ordinance.
But there are many that have made improvements,
Yes.
which is good. So, okay. Number 28, Police and Fire Commission, Police and Fire Committee and Fire Commission alignment, possible changing of appointments to Police and Fire Committee, appointment to open Fire Commission seat. So John Hall, it asked to be replaced. So we do have an open seat on the Fire Commission to fill. And looking at the last 2 years of committee appointments and Fire Commission appointments, those don't match as far as board members that were on each. So we can align those, we don't have to. But we do need someone.
Easier just to align the two.
Yeah, so we just, and I know you had talked about changing the name of the Police and Fire Committee, cause that gets confusing with Fire Commission.
Right. The ordinance says we have to have a police and fire committee.
Yeah, so we just have to change the name of the ordinance.
We have to change the ordinance.
Isn't Peter Turner on there now?
No.
No?
Tom Ragnar is, David is, and I am.
Tom who?
Tom Ragnar, Ragnar. He's a new resident in the village. He lives on Clover Lane. He used to be a fire chief at a fire district down in Illinois. So,
Was he just put on there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Special
Special
meeting.
meeting about it.
yep.
So now you want a second one?
What's that?
You want a second one now besides him, or is he the one?
He's the one. So I don't know who the police and fire committee is. I guess I could have looked that up on the website.
We could just merge everybody together.
Well, I guess I think that's what we talked about, was just merging everybody together and giving it one name.
The police and fire is Nicole,
But they're separate
David and
things,
me.
like the fire commission is Magnolia Center and us. And the village has to have its own police and fire committee, according to ordinance. So you can't like merge.
Well, we can
You
merge
can have
it.
the same people,
Yeah.
but you just have to have two
That's what I
separate
was
committees, two
saying.
separate,
Yeah.
a committee and a commission. Cause the commission
Is a different
includes
separate.
people
yeah.
from Center Township and Magnolia.
John Hall's getting off.
Yes.
He's the one that's getting off.
Yep. So we have Tom Ragnar, myself, and David.
For the fire
And we
commission.
need one more.
We need one more.
But Peter Turner, is he still on or?
He is not.
He's off.
Does it meet real often?
It meets once a month. I would say their meetings are 30 minutes long, 40 minutes long.
Third Tuesday of the month, I think.
Yeah. And we don't always meet every month if we don't have anything to address.
What'd you say, Nate?
He goes, do it. I mean, I would volunteer myself, I guess, if that.
Yeah, so if Nicole does that, then I would take Nate's spot on the police and fire. And then same people are on both. So we just need a motion to approve those two changes.
Make a motion, we approve those two changes.
I'll second it.
You're going on the police and fire committee then?
And then Nicole would go on the fire commission.
That would be all looked at.
I'm sorry, which one am I at?
Fire commission.
Fire commission,
And police and fire committee. But you were already there.
Yeah.
right.
John's giving that.
So you just gain an extra one.
They're pretty painless.
I mean, we don't meet real often. Committee.
He's replacing you.
Neither does the police and fire.
Okay, motion on the table. All those in favor say
Did I
aye.
I didn't have a second.
Right.
Yeah, Nate made the motion, John was the second. So all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 29, request to install a bench in the park for Katie Hatlivig.
Yeah, that's Peg's daughter. She come up missing about 3 years ago.
That's pretty good. Quite an idea.
Her son Jacob Flynn, he had a benefit thing for her celebration of life. We haven't heard nothing if she's out there yet somewhere or if she's deceased. We don't, nobody knows. He had a fundraiser last week to make a bench for it, and the other half go to missing persons or whatever. He was just wondering if we could put a bench up to the park.
I'll make a motion to do that.
There is a slab already up there,
There is a slab up
Yeah.
on
up at, back in
the
the
far corner.
corner by Sunny Demro's
Um,
tree. If,
We're kind of limited on them park spots, you know, for benches. I says it'd have to go to the board, you know. If we wanna do that or not. It's up to, I kinda wanna steer myself clear of it.
I'll make a motion to do that, Paul.
I'll second it.
Oh, okay.
If you want to abstain, you may.
do you want it there, or do they want it there? Is that,
I don't know,
you, I mean, they can find out.
cause he said they would pour their own concrete slab, but
Okay.
if there's already a slab
There
there.
is one, but maybe they want it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he
Some
could
people are.
talk with you or David, you're on the Parks Committee too.
Yeah.
Work that
Yeah,
out.
we'll be
Yeah.
together
Work,
next week.
work that out.
Okay. I'll put it on the agenda and see where it goes, that's all I can tell you.
Well, we got a motion, so,
Just don't put it out in the ball field.
Right.
yeah, or we're gonna put a fence, or not put a fence. So, okay, any
No,
other
thank-
discussion?
No, thank you for it.
Yeah, I'm very sorry that
Yeah.
the family's going through
No,
that. That's
never
hard,
did hear anything.
still hard.
Nothing's ever come about, so. And there's that same lady over there to Melissa Trumpy in
Yeah.
Monroe, same
Yeah,
thing, it was
same
about the same
thing.
time she went.
I have a classmate back home that son went missing 10 years ago.
Never find him or?
Never.
Wow.
It's just
It's
hard to
just-
watch.
There
them
were
struggle with
actually
that.
quite a few girls in
Yeah.
a short period of time, and nobody really paid attention, and they were all, you know, all in the
Yep.
communities around here, so.
Yep.
Don't know what's happening.
That's right. Okay, motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Required update to building code ordinances. I think you have those ordinance changes in front of you. And this satisfies the inspector's
Yes.
expectations?
Mhm.
Okay. So we just need a motion to approve this.
Make a motion to approve the updated ordinance for the building codes and permits.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And then the underground construction ordinance, we added in, talked with Tim, we got all those things added in, like the number B on that first page, got main lines, and then the feeder lines, depth is set. Approval of Department of Public Works. You got the fee for the permit, but they have to have the permit before they start. Village of Footville is named as additionally insured. Permit applications approved, presented to board president for approval if necessary. Village board may also approve permit applications by majority vote. I think that's what we decided. Failure to provide a permit means they have to stop, pay a $250 fine, get the permit. And then emergency approval by Department of Public Works, we can inspect. Another thing on the back side of G is, conflict with other utilities is important, establishment of grade is important. Restoration of the surface, we talked about that. Everything will be in the same condition before work was commenced. And that's done to the homeowner's satisfaction and the village's satisfaction. I made sure it's both, in case it's public property. That way we have a say in that too. Or if let's say we've got homeowners that go south
Right.
and they're not back, then we still can come in and say, this is not appropriate, fix this properly. And then if they don't do it, we can do it, we would bill them for it. And then K is super important, that it does not relieve them from any obligations, that if they have to remove, relocate, if we do any type of construction or for any type of reason that is necessary, that can include installation of a driveway, which may be important for Ravi Patel, because all that stuff over there is not all of it's deep enough. And so if he's gonna put a driveway in from that third building, stuff is gonna have to get redone, so this addresses that too.
Now, being that was done before this was road, is this still
This is,
good?
I would think this would be
Because that was
enforced.
done prior to the ordinance?
This still says non-relief, if you did it before and we need it fixed, you gotta fix it.
Yeah, okay.
So let me ask a question, in there, because I haven't read through that, I don't know if I even had one available to me, but either way, does that say that, the village has specifications that this equipment from underground, like Bright Star, all goes in the back of the lots and not on the front of the streets, in front of their homes, like Bright Star just did?
No, it doesn't,
Okay,
but what it does is, we approve their plans.
okay,
So they can't just come in and say, this is what we're going to do.
okay.
They have to say, this is what we want to do. And then like on Hubbardale
Yes,
and however many other streets it was, Century over in the new subdivision, where they all did it on the front side, and a lot of people are upset about
I know
that.
they are, that's why I
C
asked,
kind
yeah.
of covers that, doesn't it?
Yep,
Approval of location.
yep, they have to provide plans and we approve the plans. That's part of the permitting process.
How much is the permit fee?
Just $25. That tends to mirror a lot of other municipalities. But again, we've got that $250 fine and they have to stop construction immediately. So, and then the other thing down at the bottom, which I hope will address another issue that we have, is any and all property damage caused during construction will be the sole responsibility of the party conducting the construction. So even if they damage something like that underground thing that we had to pay to fix, they should still be responsible for that. Cause I don't think we should have paid for that, but we had no way to go back on it. So, and then the other thing on this changes that dollar amount from $5,000 to $10,000. That's the only thing that changed in this big long paragraph in the back. So, if that sounds good to everyone, we can pass that ordinance to and put it into effect.
Make a motion to approve the underground construction ordinance.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion is second. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Yeah. Killing lots of trees. Okay. Number 32, we will consider a motion to convene into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute 19.851C to review candidates for the police department positions.
Make a motion to convene into closed session.
I'll second it.
Motion by Nicole, second by John. Roll call vote.
Yes.
Dave, yes.
John, yes.
Ron, yes.
John, yes. Thank you.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night. Night, ladies.
Good night.
Marilyn, no Willis.
I don't want you to walk out of the room.
I'm not afraid. Like somebody I know won't.